Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Srimad Bhagavatam, 2nd Canto, 7th Chapter, Scheduled Incarnation, text 34, 35. Both the verses are written on the Okay. Actually, when there are two verses, just put one, the later verse. Anyway, so we'll just read the first verse. Can everybody see? Can everybody read from?
I think it should be slightly higher.
No, I mean if we just read the first verse, can that be? First verse is okay. Ye cha pralamba khara dardura keshi arishta mallebha kamsa javanaha kapi punrakadaya anne cha shalva puja balvala dantavakra shaptoksha shambara baduratha rukmi mukhya ye cha pralamba kharadar durakesharishta mallebha kamsha javana kopipondrakadya anne cha shalla kuja balvala dantavakra shaptoksha shambara viduratha rukmi mukhya ye cha pralamba kharadar durakesharishta mallebha kamsha javana kopipondrakadya anne cha shalla kuja balvala dantavakra shaptaksha sambara viduratha rukmi mukhya ye cha pralamba kharadar durakesharishta mallebha kamsha javana kopipondrakadya anne cha shalla kujaballala dantavakra shaptoksha shambara viduratha rukmi mukhya So the next verse goes like Jeva mridhe shamita shalina attachapa kamboja matsa kuru shrinjaya koikayadya jasyanta darshana malang balapartha bhima vyajabhayena harina nilayam tadiyam. So word for word translation. Ye, all those, cha, totally, pralamba, the demon named Pralamba, khara, dhenukashura, dardura, vakashura, keshi, the keshi demon, arishta, the demon Arishtasura, Malla, a wrestler in the court of Kamsa, Ibha, Kubalaya Pida. Kamsa, the king of Mathura and maternal uncle of Krishna. Yavana, the king of Persia and other adjoining places. Kopi, Dvivida, Ponrakadya, Ponraka and others. Anne, others. Cha, as much as. Shalva, the king Shalva. Kuja, Narakasura. Balvala, king Balval. Dantavakra, the brother of Shishupal, a dead rival of Krishna's. Shaptoksha, king Shaptoksha. Shambara, king Shambara. Viduratha, king Viduratha. Rukmi Mukha, the brother of Rukmi, the first queen of Krishna at Dwarka. Ye, all those. Va, either. Mridhe, in the battlefield. Samiti Shalina, all very powerful. Attachapa, well equipped with bows and arrows. Kamboja, the king of Kamboj. Matsya, the king of Darbhanga. Kuru, the sons of Dhritarashtra. Srinjaya, king Srinjay. Koikayadya, the king of Kekaya and others. Yashanti, would attain. Adarshanam, impersonal merging with the Brahma Jyoti. Alam, what to speak of. Bala, Baladev, the elder brother of Krishna. Partha, Arjun. Bhima, the second Pandava. Baya Ahabhaya, Baya Abhyane, Baya Ahavaneya, by the false names. Harina, by Lord Hari. Nilayam, the abode. Tadiyam, of him. Translation by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada. All demoniac personalities like Pralamba, Dhenuka, Baka, Keshi, Arishta, Chanur, Mushtik, Kubalaya Pira, elephant, Kamsa, Javana, Narakasura, and Ponraka, great marshals like Shalva, Dvidvya, monkey, and Balvala, Dantavakra, the seven bulls, Shambara, Viduratha, and Rukmi, as also great warriors like Kamboja. Haribol, maybe you can go on to the other side. Which side? Because I can. Yeah. Okay, ये पढ़ लेने के बाद तुम जा सकते हो. Would all fight Kamboja, Matsya, Kuru, Srinjaya, and Kekaya. Would all fight vigorously either with the Lord Hari directly or with him under his names of Baladev, Arjuna, Bhima, etc. And the demons thus being killed would attain either the impersonal Brahma Jyoti or his personal abode in the Vaikuntha planet. Okay, now you can go to the... All demonic personalities like Pralamba, Dhenuka, Baka, Keshi, Arishta, Chanura, Mushtika, Kubalaya Pida, elephant, Kamsa, Javana, Narakasura, and Ponraka. Great marshals like Shalva, Divida monkey, and Balvala, Dantavakra, the 7 bulls, Shambara, Viduratha, and Rukmi, as also great warriors like Kamboja, Matsya, Uru, Srinjaya, and Kekaya would all fight vigorously, either with the Lord Hari directly, or with him under his names of Baladev, Arjuna, Bhima, etc. And the demons, thus being killed, would attain either the impersonal Brahma Jyoti or his personal abode in the Vaikuntha planet. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. All manifestations in both the material and spiritual worlds are demonstrations of the different potencies of Lord Krishna. The personality of Godhead, Baladev, is his immediate personal expansion, and Bhima, Arjuna, etc. are his personal associates. The Lord would appear, and he does so whenever he appears, with all his associates and potencies. Therefore, the rebellious souls, like the demons and demoniac men, mentioned by names like Pralamba, would be killed either by the Lord himself or by his associates. All these affairs will be clearly explained in the 10th canto, but we should know well that all the above mentioned living entities killed would attain salvation either by being merged in the Brahma Jyoti of the Lord or being allowed to enter into the abodes of the Lord called Vaikuntha. This has already been explained by Bhishma Dev in the 1st canto. All persons who participated in the battlefield of Kurukshetra or otherwise with the Lord or with Baladev, etc., would benefit by attaining spiritual existence according to the situation of their minds at the time of death. Those who recognized the Lord would enter Vaikuntha, and those who estimated the Lord as only a powerful being would attain salvation by merging into the spiritual existence of the impersonal Brahma Jyoti of the Lord. But every one of them would get released from the material existence. Since such is the benefit of those who played with the Lord inimically, one can imagine what would be the position of those who devoutly served the Lord in transcendental relationship with Him. Om Ajnana Timirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chukshurunmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Bandeham Shri Guru Shri Juta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavanscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tang Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitanscha. He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarubhascha Kripa Sindhubhayeva Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivashadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Yeah, when we chant for our meditation, then we have to chant in one way. But when you have to chant with others, then you have to chant another way. I was thinking today that, okay, it's good, we can all chant together. Generally, I used to think that this is the prayers, and therefore I generally used to chant in a certain way. But if we are going to chant all together, then we can chant the way we did today. And I was also thinking that His Holiness Gaur Govinda Maharaj used to select he had some selected verses, and he used to every day for Bhagavatam class, he used to chant with the devotees. So maybe we can also, let's see, like we can also select a few verses and we can get the printout and we can chant together. That's very nice. These are actually glorification of Srimad Bhagavatam, the benefit of chanting Srimad Bhagavatam. Okay, text 34-35. Ye cha pralamba kharadardura kesharishta mallebha kangsha javana kapipondra kadya anne cha shalla kuja balvala danta vakra shaptokshara shambara viduratha rupmi mukhya jeva mridhe samiti shalina atta chapa kamboja matsa kuru shrinjaya koike adya Jashanta darshana malang balapartha bhima Vyajab bhayena harina nilayang tadiyam. All demonic personalities like Pralamba, Dhenuka, Baka, Keshi, Arishta, Chanura, Mushtika, Kubalaya Pira, elephant, Kamsa, Javana, Narakasura and Pondraka, great marshals like Shalva, Vivida monkey and Balvala, Dantavakra, the seven bulls, Shambara, Viduratha and Rukmi, as also great warriors like Kamboja, Matsa, Kuru, Srinjaya and Kekaya, would all fight vigorously either with the Lord Hari directly or with him under his names of Baladev, Arjuna, Bhima, etc. And the demons thus being killed would attain either the impersonal Brahmajyoti or his personal abode in the Vaikuntha planet. So Krishna's pastimes are being described, as I mentioned, through these 10 verses. This is the last verse. Previously, 9 verses, different activities of Krishna had been described, and now it has been being described that how Krishna would kill all these demons. And the killing of some demons have been described previously in the previous verses. Yesterday's verse described which demon? Krishna killed which demon? Shankasura. And why did Krishna kill him?
He wanted to kidnap the gopis for the Rasa.
Yeah. Not wanted to, he did kill. And he did kidnap. He was running away with the gopis. But Krishna just chased him and severed his head. So then, in this way, then previous to that, it has been described how Krishna subdued the pride of Indra, and how Krishna bestowed his mercy on Varuna, and so forth. And in this verse, it has been described that Krishna killed so many demons. And paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dishkritam. Krishna comes to protect the sadhus and to annihilate the demons. Now, as we mentioned also, as we discussed briefly yesterday, that in his pastime, some demons are real demons and some demons are acting demons. Some demons are real demons, those who are really inimical towards Krishna. But the way it is that Krishna, it always appears that these are some, even if they're acting as demons, they act so well that it appears to be real, absolutely real. That's the sign of good acting, isn't it? What is a good actor? Good actor becomes the role that he is playing. Like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was a brilliant actor. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was such a brilliant actor that once he played the role of a woman. And what happened at that time? Everybody thought that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu became a woman. So, similarly, Krishna also, when he plays the role of a woman, like Mohini, she becomes so real that even Lord Shiva becomes bewildered and he becomes attracted by her. So that is the Lord's inconceivable potency. Ordinary living entities, they cannot, when they play a role, they have to dress up and they have to change themselves into that role. But when Krishna plays, or Krishna's devotees play certain roles, those roles are very, very real. And this is the difference between just ordinary drama and Krishna's pastimes. In ordinary drama, there is the preparations through rehearsal, and then there is a stage and they play. But Krishna, because he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, when he plays a drama, it becomes very, very real. And those who take part, they also have their preparation and background. Like most of the demons will find that either they performed great austerities, or they had been great individuals, had been cursed to become demons, and even the pious people, we can see that their background is that in the previous lives they performed great austerities and performed religious activities to develop their devotion. So in this way, Krishna actually makes arrangements. And as we mentioned briefly yesterday, like some people are elevated gradually. Baddha Jiva, a conditioned soul, is through his sadhana, through his performance of spiritual activities, he is elevated to that perfect situation of entering into Krishna's pastimes. And even the demons, some demons they're demoniac due to their nature. They also become demon gradually through their conditions. And some living entities, some of the associates of Krishna come from the spiritual sky. And in this way, ultimately they all attain their spiritual perfection. They become siddhas. So there are two types of siddhas, sadhana siddhas and nitya siddhas. Eternally liberated, perfected souls, and souls that have achieved their perfection through practice, sadhana. So in this way, we can see that how different living entities achieve their ultimate destination of life by entering into Krishna's pastimes. Now here, one very important point has been mentioned. One very important point has been mentioned here is that it sounded like they're sneezing and I am putting the air conditioner on. So actually I thought it's getting quite stuffy here. And let me see if that one works. Somebody try this one from there. Pass it on to you. Kyola. It's the same. So, the point is, the ultimate goal of life is to develop our devotion to Krishna. So Krishna's in pastimes or living entities in relation to Krishna can develop two types of attitude. Can develop, so close this one. Can develop two types of attitudes. One is favorable attitude and the other is unfavorable attitude towards Krishna. Now it's advised that one should become favorably related to Krishna. When Krishna came, many people became related to Krishna. Many of them are thinking about Krishna. Many of them are constantly thinking about Krishna. Like Kamsa. Kamsa was constantly thinking about Krishna. But how he was thinking of Krishna? Vairi bhav. As an enemy he was thinking of Krishna. So that is unfavorable. That's not desirable. We should think about Krishna in a favorable way. And what is the favorable way? Favorable way means in a loving way. With love we should think of Krishna, not with hatred. Although Krishna is saying, Manmana bhavo, think of me, but at the same time Krishna, right after that Krishna is saying, Mad Bhakta. You think of me, but think of me with devotion. Not think of me with animosity or hatred. But here in this verse it has been pointed out that even though one thinks of Krishna inimically, still he derives benefit. Still he derives spiritual benefit. That he becomes liberated. If one thinks of Krishna and he naturally derives benefit. And even if one develops great animosity towards Krishna and then killed by Krishna, still then they achieve some spiritual benefit. They achieve liberation. They become liberated. And that's the point that has been made by our acharyas about Sajujya Mukti. Some people think that Sajujya Mukti or merging in the Brahma Jyoti is the ultimate goal of life. Like the Mayavadis think that Sajujya Mukti is the ultimate goal of life. But our acharyas are pointing out that when Krishna kills the demons, then they achieve Sajujya Mukti. So the mukti that Krishna's enemies get, being killed by Krishna, why should anybody in proper senses, in his proper consciousness, want to have that position? The position that Krishna gives the demons when he kills them, why should one want to have that position? Asura harina hata. Asura, the demons, harina, when killed by Hari, Krishna, hata. The position that they get, why should a devotee or why should a gentleman want to have that position? Okay, if you're a demon and if you get that position, that's okay. But why should one undergo so much austerities and penances to get the position? Or a simple answer can be, if you want that position, then become enemy of Krishna. Then you'll get. You don't have to perform great austerities and penances. If you just become enemy of Krishna, you'll get that position. But do you want to become an enemy of Krishna? Does anybody want to become an enemy of Krishna? If we recognize that Krishna, it is so beneficial to be related to Krishna, then why should one become an enemy of Krishna? When one realizes that Krishna is so wonderful, Krishna is so great, so why should one want to become his enemy? If someone is so nice, if someone is so wonderful, if someone is so attractive, why should we become inimical towards him? But when do we become inimical towards him? When our false ego becomes so badly inflated. When our false ego becomes so inflated that we begin to consider that we are the greatest. When we think that I am the greatest, and our false ego becomes so inflated, then we cannot recognize anyone as greater than us, not even Krishna. And that is the problem with the demons. Now when one becomes so much affected by the material influence, when one becomes so much affected by his false ego. What is the first layer of material nature? What's the first bond of material nature? What's the first bond? False ego. So when one becomes so proud, so puffed up, so arrogant, like Shankashura is an example. He was an associate of Kubera, so he was very wealthy, very rich, because Kubera is the treasurer of the demigods. And so Shankashura was very wealthy. And we see like what wealth does. When one becomes affected by wealth, he becomes proud. He becomes proud. And when one becomes proud, then what happens? They think that all the beautiful women are for his enjoyment. And especially when they see that someone who is not very significant is enjoying some very beautiful woman, they think that why should this person enjoy it? I should be the enjoyer. It's a very, this is how the material nature works. And in their eyes, who is Krishna? In the eye of Shankasura, who was Krishna? Just a cowherd boy. just an ordinary village boy. And he was thinking that this village boy who just tends cows in the forest, and look, he is enjoying all these beautiful women. So, let me just take these women away from me. And that was Sankachura's mentality. So this is what happens when you become proud with our wealth and position of power, then we become so overwhelmed with our false ego that we become Krishna's enemy. False ego makes us think, what is the effect of false ego? Let's consider that. What is the effect of false ego? In order to understand that, we have to first understand what is the meaning of the word false ego. The meaning of the word false ego. False means? False means? That is not real. Unreal. False. And ego means identity. Unreal identity. Mistaken identity. False identity. And what is that false identity? The false identity is? What is that false identity? Yes. The false identity is that I am the enjoyer. I am the Lord and Master. I am the enjoyer. I am the Lord and Master. And as a result of that, we begin to, the more the false ego, the more we think that I am the Lord and Master. But what is our real identity? Our real identity is that we are eternal servants of Krishna. Jiber Swarup hoy Krishner Nityadas. We are the eternal servants of Krishna. We are not masters. We are servants. We are not enjoyers. We are enjoyed. We are meant to provide for Krishna's enjoyment. Servants. What does a servant do? The servant provides for the master's enjoyment. Our business is to provide for Krishna's enjoyment. But what is false ego doing to us? False ego is making us think that we are the enjoyers. And individually, everyone is thinking that way. Whether it's an insignificant ant to Indra, the king of demigods. And the more materialistically situated one becomes, the more intense becomes his false ego. When the false ego is very, very prominent, then it is due to our materialistic influence, the influence of the material nature. So Krishna consciousness is the process that reverses that situation. Okay, you have mistaken your identity, now rectify it. How to rectify that? The rectification can take place only by becoming a servant of Krishna, not by any other means, not by any other way. Therefore, austerities and penances and all these activities have been rejected completely. So much so that in Chaitanya Charitamrita, this Karmakanda section and Jnanakanda section of the Vedas have been considered to be two pots of poisons. Karmakanda, Jnanakanda, Keboli, Bishero Bhando. They are two pots of poison, Bishero Bhando. Omrito Bolia Jeba Khai. If one drinks that, thinking that to be nectar, Nana Joni Brahman Kare, Kadarja Bhakkhan Kare, Tar Janma Adhopati Jai. He travels in different wombs, in different species of life. And he eats all kinds of abominable things, কদর্য ভক্ষণ করে, and তার জন্ম অধঃপতে যায়. His birth is meant to become totally degraded. So, this is the result of Karmakanda section and Gyanakanda section of the Vedas. So, Karmakanda section and Gyanakanda section of the Vedas cannot give us proper spiritual guidance. Therefore, it has been rejected completely. Anna bhilashita sunnam jnana karmad anamritam. Or dharma prajjhita koitava atra. পৃথিবীতে যত কিছু ধর্ম নামে চলে, ভাগবত কহে তাহা পরিপূর্ণ চলে. The Srimad Bhagavatam is very clearly pointing out that whatever is going on in this world as dharma is simply full of deceptions. It's not going to give us what we actually need. It can give us some material benefit. It can lead us all the way up to liberation. But what kind of liberation? Sajujya Mukti. Who wants that liberation? That liberation to a devotee is Koivalla Narakayati. That liberation is like going to hell. So this is how devotional service, the supremacy and the ultimate benefit of devotional service has been so clearly established. There is no need to go for anything else. Even there is no need to follow any other aspects of the Vedic scriptures. Just stick to devotional service. Only devotional service and nothing else. Now people in general will not understand that. Why? Because they are misled themselves. We find that so-called spiritual people, because they don't have proper understanding, they themselves are misled and they're misleading the rest of the world. And the world is also so bewildered that these kind of people are getting a lot of recognition and people are following them, thinking that yes, this is the real thing. But when the real devotee comes to spread Krishna consciousness, they are not interested about him. When devotees come to create the actual benefit, they are not interested. And that's the unfortunate state of affairs in the age of Kali. Cheaters and the cheated, the age of cheaters and the cheated. It's something like they just go, people, because they want to be cheated, they just go for the external appearance. It's like people are dying, there is an epidemic. Hundreds and thousands of people are dying. And a doctor comes and to give the medicine, but they don't want to go for that real doctor. But at that time there are some fake doctors, pretending doctors. They're dressed like a doctor, they're wearing an apron, they have a stethoscope, and people think, this is a real doctor. And because they're in such a desperate situation, they go and tell them, please cure my disease. And he says, yes, I'll cure your disease. Give me 10,000 rupees first. They are not concerned about curing the disease, nor do they can cure the disease. They're simply concerned about the money. And so give me money, give me money. And their external appearance is just a deception, cheating. Whereas a real doctor, because he is treating the patients, he doesn't have the time to wear the apron. Maybe he just tore off his apron to tie some bandage for somebody. And they think, he's not a doctor. He doesn't even wear an apron. The other one, his apron is so beautiful. And it's so white, so nicely ironed. So he must be a very good doctor. And in this way, people are missing out. The people, those who are suffering in this terrible epidemic, they are just missing out. Although the real doctors are trying to cure them with the real medicine. But those who are intelligent, those who are fortunate, they'll recognize who is a real doctor. And when he comes, he gives the medicine and they become cured. So that is another way that this will spread, this movement will spread. The doctors, when they execute their responsibility properly, then people will benefit. And when they benefit, then they will go and tell other people. Through word of mouth, it will spread. Oh, I took the medicine and it worked. So why don't you also try it out? And that is what preaching actually means. Preaching means going to people and telling them that, look, I took the medicine. I was suffering from the same disease that you are suffering. And I got this medicine from this doctor and it worked. I got cured. Give it a try. See what happens. But if we fall asleep in Bhagavatam class, then how are you going to go out and preach? So wonderfully everyone is snoring away in the Bhagavatam class. If we are falling asleep ourselves, if we are asleep, if we are suffering from the disease and not concerned about the cure ourselves, then how are we going to go out and tell others how to become cured? Therefore, the first consideration is become serious about spiritual life. Become serious. There is plenty of opportunity to eat and sleep and have sex. The whole material nature is meant for eating, sleeping and having sex. So, but the question is that going to be the goal of life? And Jeev Jago, Jeev Jago. Bhakti Vinod Thakur is reminding us. Wake up, you sleeping souls. Koto nidra jao maya pishachiro kole. You don't realize that the witch, like Maya Pishachi, is drinking your blood. And why are you sleeping on her lap? You're dying, you don't realize that. Wake up. So the real cure is there. Krishna has come. He performed his pastimes just to give us that message. Then he came as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to broadcast it and present it in such a wonderful way that everybody can understand the importance and the super excellent pastimes of Krishna. And then through Srila Prabhupada he made this wonderful benefit spread all over the world. So such an inconceivable good fortune has been awarded to us. So it's just a matter of taking full advantage of it. The material nature has its own purpose, but the consideration is that will it give us the real benefit? What is the nature of what is the characteristics of material nature? The characteristic of material nature is that it allures us with the promise of enjoyment, but it provides us suffering. It allures us with the prospect of enjoyment. Come, enjoy me. But the result, but what we get? Do we get enjoyment? No. We get suffering. Maya allures, come, enjoy me, but when you go for enjoyment, then what does Maya do? Maya kicks us on our face. Come, come, enjoy me. Bang. Maya kicks. Then again we think that we didn't really try hard enough to enjoy. Then again we make a try. We make a greater effort to enjoy. And greater is the kick of Maya. So in this way, through this, what Maya is trying to teach us. Don't come to me for enjoyment. Go to Krishna for enjoyment. If you really want to enjoy, go to Krishna, who is the reservoir of all pleasure. He is the reservoir of all pleasure. So go there and enjoy there. But to understand that, it needs intelligence. It needs two things. It needs intelligence and it needs sincerity. Through intelligence we understand that this is what's going to happen if we follow Maya. And then with sincerity we stay away from Maya. With sincerity we turn towards Krishna. Maybe there is another factor is there. Before that, intelligence and sincerity. In between intelligence and sincerity, there is another factor. That is good fortune. It is through the good fortune, if we have the good fortune, then we come across a devotee of the Lord. If we have the good fortune, then we understand the message of the devotee of the Lord. And that is that Sukriti aspect. The devotees are creating the Sukriti, but we have to accept the Sukriti. We have to accept that good fortune. And to accept that good fortune, again, we need good fortune. And that good fortune actually gives us the intelligence to understand. And when we understand that, then we accept it. And then we pursue the course with sincerity. And that sincerity is utsahat, nishchayat, dhaijat, tat karma pravartanat. That sincerity will provide us with utsaha, enthusiasm, conviction, nishchayat, and patience, dhaijat. With enthusiasm, conviction, and patience, we should pursue that path. Then the result will automatically be there. And what will be the result? The result will be that while we are alive, we will develop a deep bond of love with Krishna. And as a result of that, at the time of death, Krishna will become our last thought. We will leave our body thinking about Krishna. And as a result of that, we will be transported to the spiritual sky in Krishna's abode, in the pastimes of Krishna. So it's a very, very definite process. Now we have to follow the process and the result will be there. And the result will be in achieving our ultimate goal. Thank you very much. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Does anybody have any questions?
They said that demons who are killed by Krishna attain Sahitya Mukti, which is considered to be hellish, worse than hell, and like a coma state of existence. So, if that is the case, if Sahitya Mukti is worse than hell, then how is it that the demons are benefited? Because ultimately they have to fall down.
Yeah. Yes. Good point. If the demons get Sajuja Mukti, which is actually worse than hellish condition, then why the demons are considered to be benefited by that? You see, that hellish condition of Sajuja Mukti is a relative consideration. From a devotee's point of view, it is hellish, because their position is so high that it is hellish. But a person who is in a materialistic situation, for him it is a great benefit. Because this is a kind of ananda which is far superior to any happiness in the material nature, called Brahmananda. So it's a relative consideration. From the material perspective, it's a great benefit. But from the spiritual consideration, from the devotee's perspective, it's hellish. So that's how the demons benefit. And eventually the demons also, at some point, maybe they will come across a devotee. Actually, that's how one can actually achieve elevation from Brahma Jyoti. From Brahma Jyoti they can't go up. But if by chance they come across a devotee, after coming to the material nature, then they may become a devotee themselves. So the ultimate consideration is, without devotion there is no way. Nasteva, nasteva, nasteva gatigamata. So we have to become a devotee. So since we have to become a devotee, then let's become a devotee now. Why wait for becoming a devotee tomorrow? Let's become a devotee now. And what is that meaning of becoming a devotee? Developing an intense loving relationship, attachment to Krishna. Developing a intense loving attachment to Krishna. And what kind of attachment? Just as people have attachment to their friends, or maybe you can begin with, just as people have attachment to their masters, people have attachment to their friends, they have their attachment to their sons and daughters, or rather their children, and just as they have the attachment to their girlfriend or boyfriend. So that attachment should be real. That attachment should be real. Like when the son all of a sudden gets lost. If the mother loses her son, how does the mother feel? She feels that her whole world has become shattered. So we have to develop that kind of attachment. When the boyfriend ditches the girl, how does the girl feel? We should feel that way about Krishna. It should be real. And in order to make it real, Krishna has to become real first. That's why Ado Shraddha, the first is faith. Krishna is real. Krishna is there. And try to experience Krishna at every step of your life. Then only we'll be able to develop that kind of attachment.
The same principle applies also to this point of Karma Kanda, Jnana Kanda, because Karma Kanda, Jnana Kanda are actually elevating the conditioned souls, but it is said that the result is ultimately
The Karma Kanda and Jnana Kanda will elevate the soul only when it is centered around Krishna. That's why when it is centered around Krishna, then it's Karma Yoga. Karma Kanda practiced with Krishna in the center is Karma Yoga. Jnana Kanda centered around Krishna is Jnana Kanda. Jnana Yoga. So karma kanda without Krishna is useless. Jnana kanda without Krishna is useless. Not only useless, it turns into poison. But the moment you bring Krishna in, everything becomes nectar. Even poison becomes nectar. So that's the advantage of, that's the meaning of doing everything with Krishna in us. Jat karosi, jadasnasi, jat juhasi radhasi jat tapushoshi konteya, tat kurushamada.
Died in the hand of Krishna. And what about Pritha and Bhima? If they died by the devotees, they also
That's what because they are representatives of Krishna. Killed by Krishna and killed by Krishna's devotees will have the similar benefit.
Maharaj?
Yeah.
Kara and Dushana and Sumpakarna they really ate the ascetics and the rishis in the forest in Ramachandra's time. So they were not afforded the same protection as the devotees, although they were engaged in some sort of religious activities. It's kind of a very savage.
Kara and Dushana were two generals of Ravana. Yeah. And so they were given the assignment to protect Surpanakha. They're living in a forest because they are Rakshasas and Rakshashi. They are not ascetics in that way.
I'm saying they were eating the ascetics in the forest.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
They were not, the ascetics were not afforded any protection.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's... it's inconceivable to understand what is Krishna's... Like why the Rakshasas are allowed to kill the Brahmanas. And so here we have to understand that they are not really devotees. If they were devotees, then they would have been protected by Krishna or Ramchandra. But they were performing austerities in the forest with some material objective, like, as I mentioned, like karma kanda and jnana kanda aspect of it. So if they're devotees, then devotees are always protected by Krishna. Even their bodies may be killed. And also, like, devotees, in whichever condition they may be in, they are always protected. The ultimate protection is the protection of the spirit soul.
This tendency to enjoy is interjected in our service. Sometimes when we do service, we get a lot of austerity or difficulty we have to undergo. Because we get in the taste of enjoyment, we continue the service. And sometimes even in the kirtan, we dance because we feeling that enjoyment tendency. My question is how to identify and recognize when we engage in service that it's actually for Krishna's pleasure and not for our own pleasure, and how to rectify the situation.
That is the devotional service in practice. That's the meaning of devotional service in practice. Right? We may not be perfect, but okay, we have false ego. At least let's use it in Krishna's service. And by engaging it in Krishna's service, it will become purified. The enjoying tendency is there, but at least let's be engaged in Krishna's service. And whatever enjoyment Krishna provides, let's just accept it as Krishna's mercy. So by accepting it in this way, we will make advancement. Like we have to understand that everybody will not become perfect right away. And that's why we need the guidance of a spiritual master. You see, we may not see what is our defect, but the spiritual master sees, and he corrects it. He corrects it. And then gradually he actually guides us to the point of total purification. And that's why no hurry. Let it take Mama Janmani Janmani Shari. Let us take even life after life. But at least let's stay on the path. How long it will take me to get purified doesn't matter, but at least let me stay on the path. And if we stay on the path, it's so wonderful. Even if we get kicked once in a while, still it's wonderful because we come to our senses. When you get kicked, when you get chastised, when you get heavied out, then we get come to our senses. Oh, yeah. But we should be careful that the false ego doesn't lead us to act in a negative way. Like sometimes it happens. Like being chastised, he can't take the chastisement and he leaves. The purpose is lost. Yes, then no one will chastise you. But at the same time, no one will correct you also. Therefore, no matter whatever happens, you have to just stay on in Krishna consciousness. That's what Prabhupada said. Everyone in ISKCON is a pure devotee. Then when Prabhupada was asked, Prabhupada, is everyone a pure devotee? He said, yes. It's just a matter of green mango and ripe mango. The mango may be green now, but if it stays in ISKCON, if a devotee, the mango may be green now, but if it stays in the tree, then in course of time it will become ripe. Similarly, one may be green today, but one may be impure today, but if he stays on in ISKCON, then he'll become pure in course of time.
You can see something is lacking, and then you may have the experience of how to resolve the situation. But in how to present it, that it doesn't come across from the false ego type from the I know better, but rather to come across as I'm a helping hand. How to...
Well, if the presentation is appropriate in the context of time, place and circumstances, then it will be, because if the intention is good, then the intention will become clear. But then again, also, like we have to see, like when, I'll give you an example. Like intention may be good, but if the application is not proper, like for example, in early days, one very successful man joined ISKCON. And he was a Harvard graduate and, big vice president of a big company and so forth, one of our godbrothers. And then he was trying to implement, thinking that, he knows so much. But when Prabhupada became aware of it, Prabhupada just came down so heavy to point out that that's not the way here. We have our way of doing things. We do not have to do things Harvard way. We do things in Krishna conscious way, and this is the way it has to work. Now that devotee was actually quite humble. He accepted Prabhupada's chastisement, and in course of time Prabhupada made him a GBC. And he did a lot of service. So that's what I meant when I said that the application has to be according to time, place and circumstances. And anyway, that is the main, yes, everybody has something to contribute. Somebody more, somebody less. But that application has to be made in an appropriate way. Like the nice food is there, the food has been cooked nicely, and when the stomach is hungry, the mouth will open and one will put the food and it will have its effect. But if the stomach is not hungry and mouth is closed, and one thinks, no, now his food has been cooked, now it must be given, so he starts to putting it in the ears because the mouth is closed, then the result will be counterproductive.
So could one say that if one is going to proffer advice, one should also have impeccable credentials, in that your sadhana should also be solid enough, and that also allows others to accept more what you're saying. But if there are so many flaws in your own practices, and you want to superimpose your ideas then onto others, they are not going to take this very easily.
Yeah, and that's also a good point. Like, the main thing is that, you see, like when you're working as a team, it has to be, like everything must be done in a, like everybody has to fit in a proper way. In that respect, I'll admit one thing. Like, you see, when Sitaram, I wanted to bring him to India, he agreed to come to India. I had been kind of, been on him for some time, trying to work on him. And so, the first condition I made was, he'll have to shave up and dress up and everything as a devotee, dress up as a devotee. And although I know he's a very powerful speaker, and he actually wanted to write the script on Bhagavatam. So, he had been reading and he was very much absorbed in Krishna consciousness. But when he came, I didn't want him to give classes. Like for a long time, I just made him in simple words, I would say, the expression, the breaking a horse. It was like you have to break the horse, and today I must admit that, he had been very serious about his spiritual life, and that's why I feel that he is now all set. And I told him also that if he wants, he can just go back to South Africa and start his preaching. But he gave himself 1 year, and he wants to stick to that 1 year. Although I feel he is ready now. He is ready now to be let loose. And I know that he will be very, very constructive. I'm not afraid to let him loose now. But still, he wants to just complete his 1 year sabbatical before going back. And I think it's very good. If he has come this far in 7 months, in another 5 months, he'll be flying.
And actually, sorry, Maharaj, I never considered those first 3 months as not being allowed. I thought that when I wasn't giving class, that this was actually Krishna's way of just curbing, because I was coming in from such a heavy lifestyle that it needed a period of cleansing, and I really regarded that period as important to just hear and imbibe the devotee spirit.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like you have accepted it, the right spirit. Although I didn't tell you, but you understood the need for that. And ultimately what we want, ultimately what Prabhupada wanted, that's what we want. And what did Prabhupada want? Prabhupada wanted that everybody in ISKCON should become a spiritual leader. Everyone. everyone in ISKCON should become an exemplary devotee. Everyone in ISKCON should become a pure devotee. And whatever we are doing to achieve, to accomplish that mission, become pure devotee, become serious about your spiritual life, and everything will happen. Krishna will arrange for everything. Now, people from outside will not be able to understand that. These are just our internal plan. These are our internal agenda. And the consideration is how to guide, how to motivate everyone to become a pure devotee. It's not difficult, but it needs proper application of the principle. If we apply the principle properly, it will happen. Like as I gave the example of the medicine. The disease is there. If the medicine is proper, the disease will be cured. So it's a matter of just accepting that medicine. And along with the medicine, there is a consideration, of course, also of pathya. What are you going to eat? Not only the medicine, but there is sometimes some food that aggravate the disease. So that also has to be given up. The process works, and somehow we have to just remain in ISKCON, remain with the structure. And I know, like, there are so many complaints about ISKCON, its leadership, and so many. But the thing is, okay, this is a passing phase that we are going through. But ISKCON is Mahaprabhu's plan. So ISKCON can never go wrong. We may cause some difficulties in ISKCON, but ISKCON will survive all those difficulties and establish Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mission, provided we don't destroy it from within. This is another thing. Prabhupada very emphatically told us that nothing can destroy ISKCON from outside. It's only from within that ISKCON can be destroyed. So be very careful. Because, and today we are seeing the outside attacks, what do? Outside attacks simply strengthen ISKCON. But it is the internal attacks that is most dangerous. Thank you, Radharani. Thank you for your very intelligent questions, very pertinent questions. And thank you also, Sitaram, for your question, your input, and your example. Very nice example you're setting. And this is the sign of sincerity. The proof, how do we see that you have accepted this process seriously? Because of the way you're acting. This cannot be imitated. One has to be completely committed in order to act the way you're acting. And our business is to follow the right example. Just follow the right example. Imitate the right example. You'll never go wrong. Thank you very much. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Gaur Premanande.